Hello, baseball fans. This is Ken Anderson with Post Banner doing a second half prediction for the Atlanta Braves. So, the Braves have had a disappointing first half 38-45 here after 3 months of play. I've had two 7 game losing streaks. One start the season, one in the middle of the year, which really was the bad one because they blew almost every one of those games. So as we said, we look towards the second half and just wanted to kind of go over a few things. First thing I wanted to go over, since it's coming up soon, is the All Stars. I think the Braves will have two for sure All Stars. Ronald Acuna will probably win one of the fan votes and will start, which would be kind of an cool thing, especially if Aaron will give Max the ball in the first inning and Dave will get Ronald the leadoff. It'd be kind of fun to see Max pitched to Ronald in the All Star game in Atlanta. So, I think Schwellenbach is going to make it. He has pitched well. He leads the MLB in innings pitched, and he has really pitched well. I think he'll go, especially now that Sale's hurt. Sale would have probably got a little favoritism there, but I think Schwelly will go. The two borderline are Olson, who really has been really good. Freeman's probably going to get voted in because there's such a big fan base in LA. And he's loved here. He's going to get voted by Atlanta, especially over Alonso with the Mets. Alonso's had the better year. So, who knows? I mean, if somebody will back out, first baseman, you never know, injuries. Olsen may get in. He deserves it. He's had a great year as far as defensively, and he's really got hot here in June. His offense numbers are picking up. The other one is kind of interesting is Dylan Lee. Dylan's been really good this year. One of the best relievers in the National League, and you may laugh at that, but when pitchers start getting hurt and they back out, there's no telling where they're going to go. So that's kind of the two for sure, I believe, and the other two possibilities. So it's really disappointing for Atlanta fans that they finally get to host the All-Star game, and it's really going to be down as far as how many people we get in there. But it is what it is. The next thing really coming up quick is Profar's coming back Wednesday. And there's a mixed bag of, what's it going to mean? Hitting, where you bat him in the order, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's got an opinion. They think their opinion's right. They probably could be. My opinion could be wrong. I think he should hit third or fifth when he first gets back just because his bat ball skills are really good. He gets on base. But if you want to bat him second, lead off, whatever, it doesn't really matter. But I think what he'll bring this team is some energy. I was riding to the game yesterday and was talking to a family member, and we were talking about asking him, so what do you think he'll bring? Number one thing he'll bring is this moxie. He's got moxie. He's kind of an antagonist a little bit. He's got some energy. And I said this, if there were a fight to break out, who do you expect of the position players to jump over the rail and really want to get after it? The Braves have a laid-back bunch. I mean, Austin Riley is as tough and big and strong as nails. He probably beat up 90% of the league. He's never going to fight. I mean, I can't see him jumping in somebody's face. I talked about him with the Dodgers. The Dodgers, that guy is Will Smith. For us in the old time was Brian McCann. Brian, almost every fight we had break out, there was McCann yelling at somebody. I think that you don't have to always have that, but that energy, everybody keeps talking about the Braves having some energy. I think that gets overblown sometimes, but Profar will bring the energy. And hopefully some more energy, maybe we'll win some of these close games. We lost another one-run game yesterday. I mean, we were not doing well in one. We just split our one-run games. We're back at 500, and so maybe he'll bring that energy and we'll get better. So that gives you what's our record going to be like by the end of the year? Are we buyers, we sellers? You hear that all the time at the trade deadline. Well, the Braves have 79 games left. If they play really good baseball, and really good baseball is 600, you win 60% of your games, you're a really good team. I mean, you win 96 games during the year. I mean, that's outstanding. You can't expect the Braves to play better than 60% baseball. Well, 60% baseball will get them to 85 wins. Do you think 85 wins are going to get you in the playoffs? Probably not. So we got to have the Braves play way better than what is really good baseball. And so the season's not over. Teams go on streaks all the time. You had the money ball with the 21 game winning streak. The Colorado Rockies, you know, made one World Series, won 20 in a row to get there. The Cardinals just like 2 or 3 years ago won 17, 18 in a row to get into the playoffs. It does happen. But the odds are they're very slim. So the way I look at it, I think the Braves will finish somewhere around 82 and 80. I think they are going to play better in the second half. I think Profar is going to bring the energy. I really do think Braves fans tend to say they don't, not Braves fans, but Braves friends on Twitter. Twitter's not always a representation of what the fan base, because a lot of the fan base just goes to the game. They don't delve into it like some of us on Twitter do. But they say that, you know, the players maybe don't care or they don't care. That's not true. That's their job. They care. They want to be good. They want more money to start off with. You're good, you get more money, even if it's in endorsement deals or whatever. Harris needs to figure out the strike zone. Hopefully, a couple of days off, he'll get there. Article today come out with Bo wrote about it. And it's, you know, they know it's just noticing the strike zone, and so maybe he'll get turned around a little bit. You know, Ozzie, to me, is very stubborn. If you lightened up a little bit on the bat, make a difference. Maybe it wouldn't. I don't know. I think Ozzie will play a little bit better in the second half. I think the lineup will perform a little bit better because Profar being in there. And I think we'll score more runs. And I think our bullpen has done okay. I mean, they're all what they are. And overall, they've been pretty good this year, to be honest. The starting pitching is a concern. We have really 3 starters right now. And then, you know, Elder is just a major league 5th, 6th starter. That's what he is. He's never going to be better than that. He's a pro. He gives you everything he's got. We need a hit in his games, okay? Take that little pressure off of him. I don't know where they go, the rest of it. So maybe you make a deal and get somebody to get you through the season. But if Sale comes back and get there, I think we can get to 82 wins. So, you know, my prediction for the second half, I think we may go 44 and 35. There's some easy spots in the schedule. Seem to be easier, not easy, but easier. But one of them we point to is the Marlins. It's a 5-game series against the Marlins. We just lost 2 out of 3 to the Marlins. They're on a 7-game winning streak. They don't look so easy anymore. Their young teams gaining confidence, getting better. So baseball, it's not like football. When you look at the Georgia Bulldogs football schedule this year, you look down through and go, oh, that's a win, that's a win, that's a win, that's a win. That's when you know you're pretty much going to get this many wins. And then you got these many games, you know. And in Georgia's case, most of the time they don't have a definite loss. So you kind of know what to expect. In baseball, you just don't know what to expect. Nobody expected the Astros to be as good as they are this year. And they're holding their own. They've lost so many players, you know. And the Braves, people thought would be better. So I think 44-35, second half, that's my prediction. That'll get us to 82 and 80. At least we won't have a losing season. We can still say we had a winning season. Fans will be disappointed, and they should be. I think the players are disappointing, and I think the organization is disappointing. This whole thing with the organization doesn't care, I don't think it's true, especially on the level of AA and Derek Schiller and Terry McGirt. You know, they're trying to put a good product out there. Now, we may not agree what that product is, but they really are trying. The next thing then, so if we're not going to make the playoffs, what do we do at the trade deadline? And for the glass half full guys who think we are really in this and go for it, they want us to trade and build a team. For the guys that are glass half empty guys who thinks we stink and we should just, you know, take everything and get rid of it, I think you're both wrong. I think we're going to be somewhere in the mid. I would like for us to try to get ready for 2026 and anything we can do in a deal. So, for instance, you know, somebody inboxed me about maybe a trade with the Pirates. I do think if you could make some sort of deal with the Pirates and get Keller and Bednar, just because both of them are under contract next year, you got a 5th starter, you got somebody in the bullpen. You know, I like that, you know, what you have to give up. So, you know, I don't think, you know, maybe we find somebody like that we can, you know, plug in the rotation, plug in the bullpen. You know, as far as the lineup, let's think about it. Olson's going to be there next year. You know, Riley's going to be there next year. Baldwin's going to be there next year. Profar's going to be there next year. And Acuna's going to be there next year. Nobody can debate those things. The rest of it gets debatable. So let's look at Murphy. Murphy's a really good player. And I know I've got friends on here that crush him and say he's terrible, and I respect that. And he has his moments. But I think overall he's a really good player. And I think that he can also be a great DH. I think you see that in Cal Raleigh. I think every time you see Murph get a few days off, he swings the bat a little bit better. And I think that, a combination of him and Baldwin. So I really think Murphy will be back. But I do think if you're AA, you need to at least listen and see if you get blown away with something. And that would be where Murph would be, if he gets blown away. The next one on Jess is Harris. Michael has a deal, and people are already saying it's a bad deal and whatever. You don't know. He's got so many years, he could turn it around, who knows. And it's not really a high selling part on Harris, but say the Yankees come calling and they just want to put somebody in center field to play defense, and he starts turning it around and they blow your way, maybe. But I don't expect Harris to go anywhere. So then it leaves Ozzie. Ozzie has 2 options the next 2 years, very affordable. So you have to make a decision. All right, he's not going to be in your plans, and you're not going to renew the option, then find somebody to take him. Get something for him. If you're not going to buy his opt-out, I think they will. I think he's coming back. But these are decisions that A has to make on those 3 players. As far as the rest of them, the last year, I think it's pretty easy. I think you do try to find somebody that needs a DH with Ozuna. He has, 5 and 10 rights, so we have to, look at that. But I think if he were to go to a contender, he would look at it, and I think maybe you get something. Right now our minor league system needs to be built. So all this about, can we get a player or whatever, anybody we can put in the minor leagues to make us better is a good thing. So I think if you get to the trade deadline and you realize, we're not making it, or somebody offers you for Ozuna, I would like to see him jump on that. And I think he's a possibility. The next are our 3 bullpen arms: Iglesias, Bummer, Johnson. Everybody needs relief pitching. Now, to trade them, we're going to have to decide on July 31st that we're not making the playoffs, because then you would just decimate the bullpen. So those are the 4 that I think may get traded: Ozuna, Iglesias, Johnson, and Bummer. There's some borderline that you maybe could do something with. I don't know what, if somebody would want to pick up a, Nick Allen or whatever, you may listen, but I think that's far-fetched. So those are the ones that I think are going to have a chance to be traded. Now, if you get back into this, what do? Well, like I said, you build for 2026 as you trade, I would think. We've done that before. Joe Jimenez being one of the latest ones where we traded and got him, but we got him where we could have him for extra years. We've done that multiple times. So, I do like I said, Pittsburgh, a combination. You look at different things. If you want to try to trade and if you decide to try to get a shortstop or an outfielder, then get somebody that can play in 26. That's where I think we're going to head. But we'll see. Alex keeps everything close to the vest. The one thing we know is he's never going to tell us. And if anybody tries to get in the way of trying to say, they know what he's saying, and he'll bark back at you. So that's fine. It's his job. I treat GMs like I do my politicians. I believe about half of what they tell me because I know they can't tell me everything because it would scare me probably. So I think Alex does a good job, and we'll see what he does at the trade deadline. The next big thing is Snit. What is Snit going to do? I've leaned both ways all year, and I've been able to talk to people and kind of know a lot of stuff there, and I think everything is 50-50. There's a part, I think, that he doesn't want to go out this way. And he knows there's talent on his team, and I think he would like to come back. Especially 50 years in baseball, that's pretty cool. This also can wear on you. And I can see where he can say, this is enough, I got to get out. I think the Ron Washington situation may add to that. He's got a good friend that's got some health stuff, older than him. Snit's a big family man. Does he really want to go out that way on the ball field? So these are things that he has to decide. And I wish I could give you what I think's going to happen, but I really don't. It's the one prediction I cannot make. I have no clue whether he's coming back for another year or he's going to retire. The one thing I would ask Alex and Snett and Derek and Terry is if he is going to retire, let's make a deal out of it. Let's announce early enough, couple months into it, 1st of August. This will be Snett's last year. If you want to do it at the All-Star game, fine too. He's going to retire. And let's have a big celebration that last weekend against Pittsburgh. And let's send him off the right way. He won a World Series. He's won 7 division championships. He's been very successful. You may not agree with every one of his moves, and that's understandable. Nobody ever agreed with my moves half the time. But I always think he thinks he's doing the best, and that's all you can ask for a coach and a manager. And let's send him out the right way. That's the only thing I ask is if he's going to retire, let's make an announcement, and let's do it the right way. I would like to celebrate what he did. I still clap for every 2021 player that comes to the box. I'll give Travis a big ovation. I'll give Jorge a big ovation this week. Anybody that comes in, because once you win a world championship for me, my team, I'm a fan. Because you gave me something that's very hard to do. I talked to some Philly fans yesterday, and they're feeling good about themselves. I just pointed up to the flag that says 2021 World Champions. And they haven't had one in a long time, 20 plus years. And they're hard to come by. So we're going to celebrate, and I think we should celebrate Snett. So hopefully the Braves will do that. One of the last things is extensions. He doesn't like to do in-season extensions, though he has. Harris, Cunha, Riley. The 2 guys that need to be extended are Acuna and Schwellenbach. And if we are not going to make the playoffs for the first time in 8 years, 9 years, whatever it is, this would be a great gesture to the fan base, because the fan base right now thinks we're not going to spend any money. And so far that's true. He keeps telling us that the luxury tax doesn't mean anything, blah, 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 all these things. But the fact of the matter is, results is what matters. And the fans have every right to be skittish on whether we're going to spend money. So if I'm him, I'm going to approach Schwellenbach or Acuna. Imagine how much better you would feel if the Braves announced they have extended Acuna. You didn't make the playoffs, but you got Acuna for the rest of his career. That's what his next contract will be. He'll be 31 when the options run out, something like that. It'd feel pretty good. I mean, you would be like, okay, well, we got something to go on. We got Riley back, we got Olsen back, we got the core back, and we're going to spend money. So I'm begging, if we don't make the playoffs, Alex, please try to figure out a way to extend one of our best players, as we probably should have done with Freddie, Dansby, or Max when they were 2 or 3 years out. We did that with Riley. We've done that. We even extended Olsen. When we traded for him, he didn't even play the game with us. Find a way to make this fan base feel better and hope going into 2026. And I know there's supposed to be an impending lockout and everything, but be darned, let's do it. All right. And my last prediction for the Braves is, for this end of this year, is they will somehow find a couple of those kids, whether it's Hayden Harris, J.R. Ritchie, whoever. They're going to find one of them to be an absolute stud by the end of this year, and they will be on the roster. They will pitch in September, or they will hit in September, and they will become an absolute stud next year. We do have some talent in the minor leagues. It is thin. But the one good thing about when you don't make the playoffs and you have a down year, is you can kind of play around a little bit, and you can see what you got. And I have enough faith in some of those kids down there. I believe we have a few more of the swelling box down there. Maybe not as good, but they can come up and finish the year. All right, that's my predictions on the rest of 2025. I would love to hear your comments. You can blast me if you think I'm wrong. You can tell me what you think. I do appreciate all the follows. And remember to follow Banner Baseball as well. Jeremy does a great job with the Yankees, and he also has others. Ramon does it with the Rays, that you can follow and keep up with their teams. You also know what they're thinking, which helps with knowing what the Braves. If you're not following me, I appreciate you if you do follow me. We're going to still do the daily recaps. Even on game 162, we'll have a daily recap. And I do appreciate everybody who does follow me. And as always, we wish all you a good day and a good week. And let's go Braves.